Hello everyone! Welcome to my video. I'm Stella from StelarCrafts. How are you today? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to crochet the new and viral iPhone Pocket. This is a super fun and simple project to make. So let's start. Come with me. We are going to need tapestry needle, scissors, and crochet hook. And I'll be using a 4mm crochet hook today with a number 4 medium worsted weight acrylic yarn. So this color I'm using today is called teal, and this is the yarn I'm using today. Look at that. I have a finished iPhone Pocket here, and I want to talk about some measurements. This part here, which is where you put your phone, measures. Let's see. The height is approximately 7.5 inches and the width is approximately 3.5 inches. Keep in mind that this is very stretchy. All right, let's see the rest of the measurements. And then the length of this part here, which is the strap, is approximately 12 inches. We are going to crochet one in that size today, but I'm going to also show you how to make one in any size. The one that we are crocheting today, it's more like a shoulder bag or a bag charm. We start by making a slip knot. And then we chain 80. So we have to make a lot of chains here, but don't worry, it's a super easy and quick project. It's fun to make, and I promise it goes by fast. So we just make a lot of chains here. We have to make 80. So let's work on that and I'll be right back. 78, 79, 80. So I have 80 chains here. Look at that. My foundation chain is very long. Let's move on and start row 1. To start row 1, we are going to make a single crochet in the second chain from the hook, which is this chain over here. So we skip this one and we place a single crochet right there. Like so. And I like to grab only one loop of the chain to make the single crochet, because the chain has 3 loops, one in the back and 2 in the front. So I like to grab this one that is on the front and the top of the foundation chain. All we have to do is to make one single crochet in each chain from the foundation chain. One single crochet in each chain. Very simple. We have to make 79 single crochets in total in row 1. All right, with that being said, let's work on those single crochets and I'll be back at the end of the row. Let's finish row 1 together. 77, 78, 79 single crochets. And it's looking like this. Now to make row 2, we have to chain 1, turn our work, and we are going to work back loop only single crochets. A back loop only single crochet is a normal single crochet. The only difference is that we have to place it in the back loop only here of the single crochet from the previous row. So do you see? This is the top view of the single crochets, and then I'll grab that back loop of those single crochets to make my single crochet of the current row. So let's do it, and then you're gonna see how easy it is. So we are going to make one back loop only single crochet in each single crochet from the previous row, in a total of 79 back loop only single crochets. So let's work on those, and I'll meet you back when I'm at the end of row 2. Single crochet number 77, single crochet number 78, and the last one, single crochet number 79. And row 2 is looking like this. Every time we begin a new row, we have to chain 1 and turn our work. And this chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch, so we have to place a single crochet right there in the first single crochet from the previous row. And row 3, which is the row we are going to start now, is the same as row 2. We make one back loop only single crochet in each single crochet from the previous row, in a total of 79 back loop only single crochets. So now, from rows 3 to row 14, we make the same thing. It's back loop only single crochets in each of those rows. So we have to make 12 more rows of back loop only single crochets with 79 back loop only single crochets in each row. So we can go ahead and work on that, and I'll be right back to show you how it looks like at the end of row 14. Don't forget, we start the row by chaining 1, and then we turn the work and we start the new row. And then we make one back loop only single crochet in each single crochet from the previous row. Is that clear? Okay, so the total number of rows here is going to be 14 rows. We still have to finish row 3 and then make more until we get to row 14. Is that clear? Okay, so your work has to be a rectangle, a long rectangle, a thin and long rectangle. Okay? Yeah, it's very simple. So let's work on that and I'll be right back. All right, I just have a few stitches left to make to finish row 14. There you go, last one. And then we have to cut the yarn here and just leave a short tail to weave in the end. Let's pass that tail through the last stitch and then we just weave in this end here later. Let me show you how it looks like now. My first rectangle is ready. Now we just have to make the second one, which is exactly the same steps as the first one. Nice! We need 2 of these rectangles. So let's start making the second one. My second rectangle is ready, and this time we are going to cut the yarn and leave a long tail for sewing. Let's leave a tail of approximately 20 inches. Okay, we pass that tail through the last stitch, and now I'm going to show you how to sew this, how to join the 2 parts together. I don't have much space here, but I'll try to show you. It's very simple. We have to fold each rectangle in half like so. Until the end there, okay? It's just that I don't have space. And then we are going to join them like this. Look at that. So we have to sew the bottom a little bit here. So this is the part where you're gonna put the phone in. So it's the pocket. You don't sew all the way to the top, and then you're gonna leave an opening here, and then when you get to the top there, you sew here the top and a little bit down here to close. Do you know what I mean? Let me show you the one I have here that is already ready. We are going to use a tapestry needle for sewing and that long yarn tail that we left in one of the rectangles. And I like to put the two rectangles in this way. Let me show you. In order to have a seamless sewing here, I like to leave the two panels facing each other like this. So look at this, I have a hump and a roll that is lower here. A hump and a roll that is lower. Because if we do it in this way, for example, look at that. The number of humps and the rows that are lower here doesn't match. We have two rows that are lower here after the hump. And here is only one. And then the sewing here, the connection is not going to be seamless. So pay attention to that before you start sewing. I hope that makes sense. Alright, so I like to start sewing in the middle here, which is the front. And then we are going to fold it like this and sew the back. Okay? So let's start sewing here. And what do I do here? I grab one loop in one side and then I go to the other rectangle. I leave these two loops to the front and I go to the back and I sew on that back loop. Look, for one rectangle I grab the front loop here, that's fine. But then for the other rectangle, I leave these two top loops here of the single crochet and I go to the back of the single crochet and I grab that little loop there. Is that clear? It actually doesn't matter very much the way you sew these two parts together, but I like to do it in this way so we have a seamless sewing here. And like I said before, the humps match. So it doesn't even look like these two parts were connected. It looks like they were made in one take. Look at that. Look at how good it looks. Okay, so we continue doing that until we sew 30 single crochets from each panel together. Okay, so it's gonna be 30 of these. I'm done sewing this part here. Now I have to cut the yarn and weave in the ends because there's no way we can use this yarn anymore. Okay? Now we're gonna need to grab a separate yarn tail of approximately 20 inches to sew the other side. So we're gonna flip this around and we are going to join the two ends like so. And we have to sew here in the same way as we did for the front side. And we sew approximately 30 stitches here. It has to be the same number that we did for the front. Okay? And we start from the top of the pocket to the bottom of the pocket. So we can sew the bottom part closed with the same yarn tail. Okay, I'm done with this part. Look at that, this is the front, this is the back. Now I'm going to use the same yarn tail there, the leftover yarn tail, to close the bottom. I'll go to one side, and then I have to come back to close the other side. So the bottom part is done. We just have to weave in all these ends inside. And now we have to move on to the top. which is very simple. It's the same thing, but in a smaller scale, because we just have to do a few stitches here. Also approximately 6 stitches here from the bottom up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we have to join the two parts together. So we kind of have to sew these two together with these two together. You know what I mean? So 4 parts together. So let's do it. Now that I got here and I have this part joined, look at that, joined here, we have to sew this part together to close that hole. So we have to go one way and then go back the same way and sew the other way and finish in this side here. We are all done. One thing that is very important to keep in mind is that it's very stretchy in this way here, but not in this way here. So if you wanna wear this as a crossbody bag, you're gonna have to make this opening here bigger. And we do that by making a longer foundation chain in the beginning there. If you wanna make one that is a crossover bag, you'll have to make a foundation chain that is longer than 80 chains. If you want something wider, you're gonna have to make more rows in each of those rectangles that we make, right? So we made 14 rows. If you want this to be wider, you're gonna have to make more than 14 rows. But I suggest you to always end in an even number of rows. So when we sew it here to join the two rectangles together, the seam is almost invisible. Look at that. I hope you liked this video. I hope it was useful for you and that you make one, because then you're gonna save a lot of money. Okay, so thank you so much for watching my video again, and I hope to see you in my next videos. So please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. I post many nice tutorials, okay? So see you, bye bye!